Mix Design is your one-stop shop for custom clothing with a personal touch. At Mix Design, we can help you tell your story through your wardrobe. Your imagination on a hat, shirt, pullover, or nearly anything wearable. And while you're picking out some custom clothing, check out the one-of-a-kind handmade soaps from the Bobcat Soap Company. Find us on Facebook and let us create custom swag just for you at Mix Design.
Hog Fanatics. We at Inside The Hawg Pen are thrilled to announce that SeatGeek is now a sponsor. As brand ambassadors, we're excited to share SeatGeek as a ticket app that simplifies the ticket buying process for all your favorite events. They provide a 0 to 10 score for each ticket, with green indicating a good deal and red indicating a not-so-good deal. As a special offer, Hog Fanatics can get $20 off their first ticket purchase by using the code INSIDEHOGPEN. Check out our socials for the link, and remember to use the code INSIDEHOGPEN.
This is where the fun begins. What is up, everybody?
But we've seen this movie before.
What's Sam Pittman known for?
I don't know.
Exactly. Is the Arkansas athletic program cursed? You never know what the loudest mouth in the fan base and his wild band of misfits are going to say.
I have a river of Kool-Aid for basketball.
It's time to step inside the Hawg Pen with your host, Razorback Zach and Marcus MC Carlton.
Talk to you.
It's the most wonderful time. I'm not gonna pressure you.
Oh, this is my Christmas, man.
Dude, the most wonderful time of the year is here. Welcome to an ITHP special edition, the Bracket Busters. That's right. Just over an hour ago, the bracket was revealed for the 2025 NCAA tournament. And yes, the University of Arkansas made it. Not quite where MC and I thought we would, but we're still in. And we're going to have all the breakdowns. We're not going to go through the whole bracket. We might go through majority of it. We'll give you the path that Arkansas needs to take to get to the Final Four and ultimately the national championship. MC, dude, I thought you were going to come out of your chair for a little bit, but this comes on the heels of Arkansas taking the series win at Ole Miss, 2-1 in a very, very big way.
Yeah, I got 2 words for Ole Miss.
Can we say that on air? Hey, want to real quick before we jump in this bracket, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Tonight's show special edition is sponsored by the Final Jumpshot from Cam Productions. Episode 1 out now, where all major podcasts are found on your major podcast providers. All right, dude. So here we go. Your top 4 seeds: Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston. Respectfully.
No complaints there from me.
Do what?
I said no complaints there from me. I think that's the 4 best teams.
No, and I agree. And again, the SEC setting the record, 14 teams in the tournament this year.
So who didn't get in? South Carolina and who?
South Carolina I don't think Vanderbilt got in.
Vanderbilt's in. They're in one of those 7-10 games.
Who didn't get in? South Carolina, LSU.
That's it.
Yeah, South
Carolina. We got 14 LSU. That was the one I couldn't think of.
Yeah. But I got to ask you, out of all of these matchups. You and I were going through pre-show as the bracket was being released, and you've got the first 4 in. You've got Alabama State, St. Francis, San Diego State, North Carolina, American, and Mount St. Mary's, Texas, and Xavier. Out of those, what do you like first? We'll start there, and then we'll go.
Well, let's start with what I don't like. I don't like North Carolina being in. That's an absolute joke. They got
one reputation only.
One quad 1 win on the season, and you had teams that were left out that had 4 and 5 quad 1 wins. You take the North Carolina name off that powder blue jersey, you put literally any other name in the country there, and they don't get in with that resume. So I don't like that. Obviously, I'm going to be a big Xavier fan because y'all can do all that conference loyalty stuff you want to do. That does not apply when it comes to Texas, and it doesn't apply to me anyway. But it sure doesn't apply when it comes to Texas.
I mean, look at here, MC. Look here, see?
Yeah.
Need I say more? I say it in my intro every day, and I say it all the time. Texas is a rival, and I will never pick them in anything.
Yeah, I'm not.
Who they're playing.
The play-in games I think are going to be fun. I think you got a couple of good matchups. I really think the San Diego State North Carolina game will be a good game.
That one's going to be a good one. They play. Who do they play? They play. Let me find it. Ole Miss in the next round.
The winner of that one gets Ole Miss. Wow.
The winner of that one gets Ole Miss, and 22-11 out of the South region in Milwaukee. Now you and I had gone through, and I'm going to give you 2. We each picked 4, and we kind of got the same ones, but I'm going to give you my 2: UCLA, Utah State.
That's one up my head.
Yeah. I like the Louisville Creighton. That one right there out of the East or out of the South region in Lexington. That was the one I was hoping that Arkansas would get. Louisville.
That's what I wanted, man. I wanted to play Louisville in Rupp. I wanted that.
It lined up though. Hey, we want you guys to be a part of the show. So if you guys got your matchups and you guys got your brackets out, let's hear from you from the Cam Productions live fan feedback. And,
who's y'all's Final Four?
Yeah, give me your Final Four. Give me your dark horse. And give me your national champion. And like I said, throughout the show, we'll be here with you for about the next hour, kind of talking about the matchups and specific pass to the Final Four into the national championship. Arkansas, for those of you that don't know, Arkansas is playing Kansas in Providence in the West region. So they will go to San Francisco. You're literally going from the East Coast to the West Coast. If you're
playing your first round game in Providence, Rhode Island, but you're in the West bracket.
Yeah.
This is why the NCAA makes no sense.
Make that make sense. But MC, second round. If Arkansas gets past Kansas, look who's waiting in the wings.
The Godfather.
Rick Pitino and St. John.
Yep.
What do you think about that matchup?
Man, hey, no matter who wins the Arkansas, I mean, obviously I want Arkansas to win, but in the second round, chances are you're going to have Rick Pitino facing off either against John Calipari or against Bill Self. Either one is going to be a marquee made-for-TV matchup.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously, if it's St. John and Arkansas, that's kind of like Vito Corleone and Michael Corleone playing each other because they're kind of Godfather 1 and 2. So that would be fun. Now, Bill Self is Kansas is not. Look, Kansas hadn't forgot about that exhibition game. They're going to be a completely different team. We are too, but whoever wins that one, I think that game's going to be a bloodbath. I think it's going to be a hard fought game. I don't see St. John's having any trouble with Omaha. St. John's is going to coast, and I think whoever St. John's gets in the second round is probably the end of the road for them, whether it be Arkansas or Kansas, because I think St. John's is really good. That's your Big East champ. I could see them making a deep run.
Now, the big thing for Arkansas is the return of Boogie Fland.
The boogeyman.
We don't have a Duthiero, but we do have Boogie Fland back.
Yeah.
That adds an element to this team that has been missing. However,
it's another body.
Boogie has got to be a team player when he comes back.
Well, but you're not gonna see Boogie in the role he was in prior to the injury. First off, I don't think he starts right away coming back. I think there's going to be some rust he has to knock off. I think you're going to see him if he plays more than I'm going to say about 25 minutes, I'll be shocked. I don't think you're going to, when he does come in, first off, I'm going to say this right now. He's not going to start. Second off, when he does come in, I think you're going to see him playing more of the off guard away from the ball than you are as the point, because of the way that Nelly and DJ have been sharing time at the point guard. I think he will, if he's in there at the same time as DJ, I think DJ is going to be the one handling the ball. Boogie's going to be the off. He might play the point when Nelly's in, but I don't think you're going to see him in the same role that he was in prior to the injury, because he was dependent on, in my opinion, a little too much on our offense.
Well, but at the same time, though, MC, I mean, early on before the injury, he was kind of the go-to guy. This team hasn't come together like it has here recently. With
what we have been missing with Boogie being out is we have been missing that voice of reason. You know, when we've been getting these big leads and they've been dwindled down to nothing multiple times, what we were missing was Boogie's voice and his presence out there on the court to be the guy to verbally and physically stop the bleeding. And what I mean by that is that when the lead dwindles, let's say we have a 17-point lead and it gets dwindled down to about 12. Boogie's is the guy that can bring everybody together in the huddle and say, okay, enough. Look, everybody calm down, take a deep breath, whatever he says to him. But he's that voice. And then also he's the one that either can get the bucket or can distribute to the point where we're going to get a bucket and get fouled and calm everything down. He's just that voice of reason with it, which is exactly what you want out of your point guard. I think you're going to see him in a different role. I think he'll be more of a supportive role rather than a takeover. Just my opinion.
Well, and I agree too, but at the same time, you know, with the what's the word I'm looking for here? With the emergence, I should say, of Jonas Aidoo. You know, that's another factor. I mean, you Arkansas is in a good spot. Okay. Yeah. But you've got to go through teams like a possible St. John's, Texas Tech, Missouri. And then at the top of that bracket, Florida, number 1 seed in the region. Florida demolished, and I mean demolished, their last 2 opponents in the SEC tournament.
I don't know that there's anybody in the country playing any better than Florida right now.
I'm scared of Florida. I thought I was scared
the last probably 3 to 4 weeks, I don't know that there's been anybody that has looked as dominant as Florida. Auburn has had a good run, but Auburn's had a couple chinks in the armor here and there. But Florida has, I mean, for whatever reason, however they did it, man, they have really put it together the last few weeks. And I think they've got to be an odds-on favorite to make the Final Four at this point.
To see who's talking about it, and apparently St. John's is already chirping about it.
Oh yeah,
I'm not worried. Kansas sucked and Arkansas is young and struggled. We are hot at the right time. We will make a run. That's coming from @MikeSJUFan on Twitter. I like the chatter already. I really do.
All right, let them talk. We got business to handle before we got to worry about them anyway. So
my favorite is this is coming from @CChamp52, Corey C. Please, basketball gods, give us Calipari versus Pitino in the second round. This is the greatest time of year, man, because anything, look, you got 64 teams. Anything can happen at any given time.
Yeah.
That being said, give me 2. I already named 2. We've got 4 total. Give me your 2 upsets.
Okay, refresh me. What were the 2 that you had?
So I had
UCLA, Utah State.
And I had Louisville and Creighton.
Okay, I'm going Midwest bracket. Okay. The typical 12/5. I'm taking Teletubby Will Wade and McNeese over Clemson.
There's a name we haven't heard in a while.
Yeah.
Is Will Wade.
McNeese is going to come in with that strong-ass offer, to quote Will Wade himself. And I think they upset Clemson in the first round. I'll tell you another one that I'm going to keep a really close eye on. And I don't think did you mention the Missouri game?
I did not.
Okay. Missouri and Drake is another one that I'll be watching really close. I could see with Drake's style versus the style Missouri likes to play, it's oil and water. And I could see Drake as the Missouri Valley champs coming in there and causing Missouri absolute fits. I think that could be a low scoring game. I think honestly, the first one to 50 wins that game. Drake has the number one scoring defense in the country. I
actually like that matchup. Now I like Creighton over Louisville just because you've got two really balanced teams on either side. And it's go ahead.
I was just going to say, not to sound like a homer, but there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on the Arkansas-Kansas game because it's Bill Self and John Calipari, with the winner either way getting another Hall of Fame coach and Rick Pitino.
You have, and again, as much as I dislike Bill Self just because for various reasons, but you have 3 Hall of Fame coaches right there in that one bracket that can easily get hot and make a run. I want to share this from Twitter. This is from the official Arkansas Razorback basketball. Look at the look on John Calipari's face when that announcement was made.
Yeah, that's cool.
I
think he knows, that that team has basically been to hell and back this year.
Yeah. And I think that is the look of a coach. Now, I'm gonna back up a little bit. All right. Does that look like a coach that's washed up?
Look, he didn't suddenly forget how to coach.
Does that look like a coach that just, doesn't care?
If you have watched
a look of elation, y'all, look at that.
Yeah. If you've watched the show on Vice this year, the Razor's Edge with Calipari, he talks specifically about the injuries. Jonas kind of hid his foot injury from him until they signed him and got him his NIL deal. And then they figured out he had to have surgery. Nelly fell out of a golf cart and landed on his shooting hand. So that's what his problem was. Now, how did he fall out of a golf cart? I think that's one of those that we don't want to know the details
I don't think we want to
know. And then you look at all the other injuries and stuff that have happened between Boogie and Thero and, the little nicks and dings that some of the other guys have had. And they still won 20 plus games and made the NCAA tournament. I think you take it as a W in year one.
So let's go to some of these comments in the Cam Productions live fan feedback before we go to our first break. James Harris of Harris Made Chef Services is Woo Pig Suey High versus Kansas on. Let's do this.
Yep, I like it.
He says 14 teams in the big dance, and then Eric Jernigan with the quote of the day so far. Today was a good day, Tater. Old Piss goes down, and we make the journey. The rest of the week is just gravy.
How about Vahiva coming up big in the 9th, and aloha means goodbye.
Yeah.
He hit a moonshot there.
Well, so before we go to break, I want to ask you, do you see a Cinderella team in the tournament? We're going to answer that question.
Yeah.
Inside the break. You're watching and listening to special edition of Inside the Hawg Pen Bracket Busters on this Sunday afternoon. Back right after this. Sorry, wrong button.
Mix Design is your one-stop shop for custom clothing with a personal touch. At Mix Design, we can help you tell your story through your wardrobe. Your imagination on a hat, shirt, pullover, or nearly anything wearable. And while you're picking out some custom clothing, check out the one-of-a-kind handmade soaps from the Bobcat Soap Company. Find us on Facebook and let us create custom swag just for you at Mix Design.
Hey, Hog Fanatics. We at Inside the Hawg Pen are thrilled to announce that SeatGeek is now a sponsor. As brand ambassadors, we're excited to share SeatGeek as a ticket app that simplifies the ticket buying process for all your favorite events. They provide a 0 to 10 score for each ticket, with green indicating a good deal and red indicating a not-so-good deal. As a special offer, Hog Fanatics can get $20 off their first ticket purchase by using the code INSIDEHOGPEN. Check out our socials for the link, and remember to use the code INSIDEHOGPEN.
It's time to step back inside the Hog Pen to the Meeks Design Studios.
All right, welcome back to the special edition of Inside the Hawg Pen on this Sunday evening. Bracket busters were just over an hour or so ago. The bracket was revealed, and Arkansas is a 10 seed in the West region of the NCAA tournament. John Calipari makes the tournament once again, and Arkansas continues its run in the NCAA tournament, where just a few weeks ago, MC, we didn't think we were going to be in a tournament.
I mean, we were on the outside looking in. I mean, let's just call a spade here. We were well on the outside looking in, and they put together a run there at the end of the season that was good enough to get them in and get them up to a 10 seed.
Yeah, and would you consider it lucky or good?
A little bit of both.
I
think you got a little bit of both in there. And I think when it comes down to late February and early March, you've got to have some luck to go along with being good, because there's going to be a game in this first round. There always is, and it may start with the play-in game. I don't know. February and early March, but it's something is going to happen early on. Somebody's going to get beat that nobody sees coming, and it's not because they're not good. It's just because the other team got lucky.
So before the break, I asked if you saw a Cinderella team in the bracket, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Arkansas,
right?
Because as homers, we want to say Arkansas.
Yeah. So just I haven't really had a chance to deep dive on the bracket, but there's a few teams that I really like that I could see making not just an upset in the first round, but maybe making a Sweet 16 type run. I'm going to start with, I mentioned this is one of my upsets. Drake is really a team to watch. Their style of play is a defense first. They slow you down. They frustrate you. They're one that I would watch that I think they could win. If they beat Missouri, they could cause problems for most likely Texas Tech in that second round game. I think that could be one. Another one, nobody's talking about this team. Nobody's talked about this team all year long. I think Memphis could make some noise as a 5 seed.
Don't let Bum hear that.
I mean, I hate to give them credit, because I know Bum's going to, be all over it. But, I mean, where their draw is, they got that 5-12 game. If they win, most likely they're going to get Maryland. Maryland is good, but Maryland does not have a gimme, I don't feel like, in the first round with Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon's a solid team. They could present some problems for Maryland. There was one more that I was going to point out. Let me get back here to the other part of the bracket, and let me see if I can find it.
I'm going to throw a matchup at you.
Okay.
That I'm kind of looking at, and I'm really hoping that I see them, emerge in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
How crazy would it be if Yale upset Texas A&M?
Not knowing anything about Yale,
I mean, the bookworms taking on the.
Yeah, you got the nerds and the weirdos.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a word for A&M that I can't say on air.
Yale, I mean, I could see that as being one just simply because Texas A&M plays a muck it up, ugly style of game. They don't let you, it's always a rock fight, so to speak, when you play Buzz and A&M. That's not beyond comprehension to see Yale pulling the upset there. I'll tell you another team I think that might make a run because they're playing really good right now is the 5 seed in that same bracket, and that's Michigan.
So just a moment ago, hogstats.com put this out for Arkansas basketball. All time as a 10 seed, 0-1. 7 seeds, 2-2. In Rhode Island, all 3 were in Providence, 3-1. Against Kansas, 6-8. On March 20th, which happens to be Ronnie Brewer's birthday, 2-1. That's coming to you courtesy of hogstats.com.
I like the draw, man. you've got 2 Hall of Fame coaches there. If you remember back in October, this was the exhibition game. I got to see who knew that I was getting to see an NCAA tournament preview with that game. Now, neither team is going to look like they did in October at that exhibition game, but kind of to finish up some other teams that I'm going to keep an eye on. I think BYU could make some noise, man. As a seed in the what are they in? They're in the East, 6th seed in the East. They get VCU in the first round. Most likely going to get Wisconsin in round 2. I like BYU in that second round matchup against Wisconsin. This is the highest scoring Wisconsin team since the early 70s. Normally they play a slow down, what I call a Norman Dale offense. Everybody's got to pass it 4 times before you can shoot.
Right.
But I like BYU in that matchup. Here's one. Who do you think's got the easiest road to the Final Four?
Honestly, Florida. I mean, look at the matchups surrounding them.
Okay.
All right.
So you got so that second round matchup, man, if UConn wins the 8-9 game with Oklahoma, which I think they will.
UConn is not the UConn that we know.
Well, that's true, but it's kind of hard to go against the 2-time defending champ in the NCAA tournament. Now, like you said, this UConn team is not as good as the last 2, but it would not surprise me in the least to see Danny Hurley come in here and have these guys on a different level because it's tournament time.
Yeah, and that's true. But at the same time, and y'all know me, I hate talking about anything Florida because of what happened in 2009.
Yeah.
All right. Excuse me.
Their basketball doesn't bother me as bad for Florida.
I feel, I hate all the other SEC teams.
You don't discriminate. You hate them all equally.
Look, I'm an equal opportunity hater when it comes to the SEC. All right.
Yeah.
But I've got to give props where props are due. Florida, the last couple of weeks, has just been on. They laid 102 points.
Yeah.
On who was that?
On Tennessee today.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
102. They're just playing on a different level.
Yep. I mean, if I'll say this, if that second round matchup is Florida UConn and Florida wins that game, they're going to the Final Four. Because I agree with you. I think looking at the bracket here, the rest of their matchups, they're going to be favored in every one of them. They'll be favored in the UConn game, but slightly. But I'm not convinced, even though what I just said about Danny Hurley and UConn, I'm not convinced that they are going to be stable enough to beat Oklahoma. I could see Porter Moser coming in and having his guys being like, all right, we're resetting everything. We made it. We're in. New season starts now. Forget everything that has happened to this point, and we go from here. And I could see that being a pretty good game. I could see Hurley as rowdy, I guess, as he likes to be.
Yeah.
I could see something happening in that game late against Oklahoma that, maybe he gets a late technical or something that kind of changes the flow of the game. I could see something like that happening. ESPN's putting the point spreads up here now. UConn's only a 4.5 point favorite.
I was just fixing to say, do you have ESPN pulled up yet? Or
Yeah, I've got it over here. Let's see that one. The Memphis Colorado State. Colorado State is a 2.5 point favorite over the 5 seed Memphis. Now, Memphis has got one of their main players hurt. He did not play today in the conference championship game against UAB. I cannot remember his name to save my life. So if Bum happens to be listening, and I'll text somebody else too, but one of their main dudes was out today, and he's questionable for the first round.
The other thing that you got to consider, the number 1 seed out of the East region, Duke, is without Flag.
Yeah. I'll say this: Duke will be the first number 1 to fall.
Yes. Now, in historical standpoints, and again, I'm trying to find some kind of stats that are always available this time of year when this bracket comes out.
Yeah.
There's always a 215 upset.
It seems like we're about due for one of those again.
How wild would it be? I'm gonna give you the matchups. You tell me which one you like better.
Okay.
Michigan Bryant. Michigan State Bryant. Michigan State's the 2 seed, Bryant's the 15.
Yep.
You got Alabama Robert Morris. Tennessee Wofford, St. John's Omaha. Out of all of those, which 2 seed is more probable of being upset?
Man. I really want to say Michigan State, but it is so hard to bet against Tom Izzo in March because Izzo he's so good in March. Okay, I'm gonna switch gears just real quick.
All right.
Tyrese Hunter is the guy for Memphis. He's a starter, big time 3-point shooter, and a big scoring threat. He's the guy that is questionable for Memphis moving forward. So, but back to your discussion on number 2 seeds, I can't go against Izzo, man. I can't do that. This is tough, man, because all of these, you got Izzo, you got Nate Oates, you got Rick Barnes, and you got Rick Pitino. Well, I'm not going against Pitino. I've always liked him. Even when he was at Kentucky, I liked him as a coach.
Oh, yeah.
I liked his style. I liked the whole Godfather comparison.
Him and Calipari both look like people straight out of Godfather, don't
they? They do, man. It's like Vito and Michael. You know, it's like
so. Dave Ellswick, for those of you that listen to Dave Ellswick, who precedes me on Friday mornings, who actually big thank you to Dave for giving me my shot on the radio. He says, when I talk to him about it, he calls John Calipari Guido. But I'm gonna surprise you, and I'm gonna pick Tennessee. I'm gonna tell you why.
Well, that's where I was leaning. I was leaning towards that.
They were dominant at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And then they started becoming inconsistent. And now that they've taken this whooping against Florida, I don't think they're going to be mentally ready because they're going to have that game in their head still. And I don't think Barnes is going to have them set for this game. I think they're emotionally, they're going to be reeling from that game.
Barnes
try too hard.
Barnes is a great regular season coach. If you look at his career, he has a history of underperforming in March. Whether that means getting upset in the first round or only getting to the Sweet 16 when he was a favorite to go to the Final Four, whatever it may be, his postseason resume is not real impressive. So, yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you and say of the 4 number 2 seeds, I think Tennessee's the most vulnerable.
So he's 30-28 all time in the tournament.
There you go. And if you look at his regular season record, it's a lot better than 2 games above 500.
In his regular season, he's 229-107.
There you go.
Overall, 833-421. Damn, that's a lot of games.
That is a lot of games. Well, I mean, man's been coaching a long time, man.
He was at what, Texas?
He was at Texas before he got the Tennessee job.
Where was he before? Where was he before?
Oh God, he was at one of those mid majors.
I've got his wiki pulled up. Hold on. He was at Clemson. So here's
right.
his,
I forgot he was at Clemson too.
So 87-88, he was head coach at George Mason. 88-94, he was at Providence. 94-98, he was at Clemson. 98-15 was Texas. 15 to now was Tennessee.
So he was 17 years at Texas. Is that right?
Before that, he was an assistant at Ohio State, Bama, George Mason, and Davidson. He got his coaching start at North State Academy as an assistant in 1977.
Wow. I think the longer we sit here and talk about it, I think you're spot on, man. I think Tennessee's the most vulnerable of the 2 seeds. One team I mentioned that I did not mention a while ago as a team to watch, I like Illinois as the 6th seed where are they in the Midwest? And not just because they put a whooping on Arkansas. I mean, if you've watched what they've done this year, they've had a good year. I would not be surprised to see them upset Kentucky in the second round. And then, maybe Sweet 16, you're probably, if Tennessee gets upset, Illinois might have a clear path all the way to the Elite 8.
Wouldn't that be something wild? At least there'd be a Z brother that's in the Final Four.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest here. As far as Arkansas, they can win the first round game. They're not going to upset St. John. I think they can play St. John. I think they can play them tough, but I think depth, especially when you're playing, we're going to play Thursday, Saturday. So if we have let's say we have a hard fought game against Kansas that maybe goes to overtime. You get Friday off, you do your walkthrough, everything. You come back, you play Saturday. I haven't seen tip-off times yet, but I got to think that
see if I can find
the 7-10 game is probably going to be one of those in the middle of the day. I don't think it'll be one of those at night. Those are going to be reserved for like your 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds.
So they have not announced tip-off times for anything yet.
Yeah.
I think
just
we're
my
next 4 hours.
Just my gut feeling. I'm going to say that that's going to be an early afternoon game on Thursday. Probably. I'm going to say tournament starts at 11. I'm going to say we're in that 1:30, 2 o'clock time slot on Thursday. That's strictly a guess based on years and years of watching NCAA tournament. That's all that is. Now, I will say this. I could be completely wrong on this, and this might get prime time because it's Bill Self versus John Calipari.
Probably, but I mean, it is also Arkansas, but I'm actually going to put MC.
But the Cal brand it overrides anything Arkansas related.
Yeah, and we're going to take a break. On this other break, I've got some stats regarding John Calipari, and then I put MC on the hot seat when it comes to this NCAA tournament and the history of the NCAA tournament. You're listening to a special edition of Inside the Hawg Pen. Back right after this.
Mix Design is your one-stop shop for custom clothing with a personal touch. At Mix Design, we can help you tell your story through your wardrobe. Your imagination on a hat, shirt, pullover, or nearly anything wearable. And while you're picking out some custom clothing, check out the one-of-a-kind handmade soaps from the Bobcat Soap Company. Find us on Facebook and let us create custom swag just for you at Mix Design.
Hey, Hog Fanatics. We at Inside the Hawg Pen are thrilled to announce that SeatGeek is now a sponsor. As brand ambassadors, we're excited to share SeatGeek as a ticket app that simplifies the ticket buying process for all your favorite events. They provide a 0 to 10 score for each ticket, with green indicating a good deal and red indicating a not-so-good deal. As a special offer, Hog Fanatics can get $20 off their first ticket purchase by using the code INSIDEHOGPEN. Check out our socials for the link, and remember to use the code INSIDEHOGPEN.
It's time to step back inside the Hawg Pen to the Mix Design Studios.
All right, welcome back to the special edition of Inside the Hawg Pen, Bracket Busters edition, here on this Sunday evening. Appreciate everybody joining us. Just over an hour and a half ago, the bracket was announced, like we talk about. We've gone over some of the matchups, but MC, you were talking about this matchup. More specifically, we're going to hone in on this matchup with Arkansas and Kansas, and potentially, and I don't want to take anything away from Omaha, but St. John's is just too much.
That's not going to be one of the 215 upsets if there is one.
No, but you've got Rick Pitino waiting in the wings in that second round. I want to tell you this. I give some stats. This is coming from the official Arkansas. Like I said, I've been perusing Twitter. If you guys want in on the action, we want to hear from you. Give me your matchups. Give me your favorites. Give me what you hate about the tournament. And this is coming from the official Razorback basketball Twitter page. John Calipari in the NCAA tournament, 131 postseason wins.
Yeah.
57 NCAA tournament wins, tied for most of all active coaches. And he's 72.2% winning percentage in the tournament. I like those odds. But I want to ask you this. Is there a clear-cut favorite to win this thing? See, every year, and again, I've only been doing brackets and in-depth brackets for about 10 to 15 years now. You've been doing this a whole lot longer than me. Back when they chiseled it in stone with like 16.
Yeah, we had the Fred Flintstone tools making our brackets out.
I'm kidding. But my question to you is, and I'm gonna put you a little bit on the hot seat.
Okay.
In years past, we've had those teams where it's like, this is the team to beat. This is the team you got to watch out for. That is a clear-cut favorite straight into the national title.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking at this bracket now for about an hour and a half. I don't see a clear-cut favorite to win this thing. I mean, obviously, Auburn is the number 1 overall seed. Big whoop-de-doo Auburn. Okay, I got a friend that's an Auburn fan. I'm never going to hear the end of it because they're the number 1 seed.
Well,
so
there's something I want to point out with Auburn too when we get to it. So go ahead and finish your thought, and then I'll point it out.
My question is, years past, like last year, you had one. The year before, you had. Is there a clear-cut favorite on the bracket as you see it, as the clear-cut favorite, like all-around favorite to win this thing?
A lot of people are going to say Auburn, but here's one thing that we have not mentioned about Auburn to this point. Okay, they are a number 1 seed. They are the overall number 1 seed. If Louisville wins that first round game, okay, the South region, the number 1 seed is in Lexington, Kentucky. Okay. The last couple summers, I have gone to Lexington and Louisville both on business trips. Louisville is only about an hour and a half drive down to Lexington. Okay. So there's going to be a ton of Cardinal fans that make that short drive down the interstate to Lexington if they win their first round game and they get to play Auburn in round 2. It'll essentially be a home game for Louisville, which is going to explode the heads of Kentucky fans because seeing all that bright red in their arena is probably going to give them some PTSD from when Arkansas went in there and put belt to ass. But
such a fun game.
But I mean, that plays a role. Auburn is good. Auburn is really good. A lot of people are going to have them as their favorite to win it all. But I'm telling you, that second round game, if Louisville can get past Creighton, Louisville will cause problems for Auburn just because of how hostile that environment can be. I think Auburn may escape it. I'm not calling for Louisville to pull the upset, but Louisville will give them problems in that second round.
Well, but it's one of those two that, I mean, think about it this way. All right. Kentucky fans are still so salty that they're going to boo anybody that steps foot in their arena.
Well, right. And I mean you had, so a lot of people had Arkansas as a 7-10 game in Lexington.
You were drooling over that matchup.
Oh, I wanted that so bad because I wanted Kentucky fans' heads to explode because they have their biggest rival of all time. And they still got their biggest rival of all time playing on their home floor. But then opposite of that was going to be, the boyfriend that dumped them, that the psycho crazy ex-girlfriend didn't get to dump.
Hey, hold on.
I really wanted that matchup.
That description you give gets weirder and deeper every time you say it.
I mean, it's the psycho ex-girlfriend, man.
I mean, I'm just saying there's more descriptions to that every time you come out and say that.
And I'm really trying to keep it PG, because I could go a lot deeper, but my mama might be watching, so I'm gonna
look. I know my mom's watching. That's why I'm not.
So I'm gonna have to, keep it PG. But yeah, I have some very descriptive terms I could use to describe Kentucky, but I'm not going to. As far as a clear-cut favorite, I'm with you. I don't think there is one. I think there are some favorites to make the Final Four. But as far as a clear-cut favorite to win it all, I'll tell you one thing. Nobody's talking about Houston. Houston's a number 1 seed.
Kelvin Sampson.
In the Midwest. Kelvin Sampson. I mean, this is the third year in a row, I think, that Houston has been a number 1 seed. So, I mean, he's a model of consistency down there.
He could have been Arkansas's head coach there for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, there was a possibility there, but I think he made the right move by staying in Houston because he's basically turned them into a machine. They haven't had this kind of success back since the days of when they had Clyde Drexler and Hakeem Olajuwon and Phi Slamma Jamma. I mean, he's been
going old school with it, ain't you?
I'm going BZ before Zach.
Yeah, that was a long time before me.
Yeah, it was almost BMC, almost before MC. But Houston, he's made them a model of consistency in the Big 12. A lot of people didn't think they could come into the Big 12 and do what they've done, but he's had a lot of success. He's got another number 1 seed. I would not be surprised at all. And you got to remember, where's the Final Four at this year? It's in San Antonio. San Antonio to Houston's not that far of a drive.
No, San Antonio to Houston's 2.
It's not a terrible drive.
It's 4 hours from Dallas to Austin, Dallas to Killeen. Because I was stationed at Fort Hood, which for those of you that don't know, that's Fort Cavazos.
It's less than 200 miles.
Yeah.
So 3.5 hours.
Yeah. So 3.5 hours. So I figured out now, thanks to this tweet saying that Carolina being in is an absolute joke coming from yours truly, MC. The head of the selection committee is North Carolina's AD.
Yeah, they were talking to him on the selection show, and he mentioned that anytime Carolina come up, he had to step out of the room. Well, right. Okay, maybe he's going to say that. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But the fact that they got in over some of the teams that were left on the bubble is ridiculous. Who were the first
4 teams out? Guys like Indiana, Ohio State.
Let me go look at the
other two. Oh, who are the other two? It was Indiana, Ohio State. There was and we're talking like these are perennial tournament teams. I mean, think about it. Think of the history of Indiana.
Let's see. West Virginia, Indiana, Ohio State, and Boise State. All of which, except for maybe Boise State, I'd have to look at their resume a little bit. But Virginia, West Virginia, Indiana, and Ohio State all had better resumes than North Carolina.
So Boise State finished the season 4th in the Mountain West. Let me see. I can pull this up here. And like I said, we want you guys to comment and we want you guys to chime in. So if you guys got a favorite of who you want to win the tournament, that's not Arkansas. Because we all know we want Arkansas to win. And wouldn't it be the most and in the words of our EP who's out tonight because he's sick, wouldn't it be the most Arkansas thing ever for them to get on a run and make it to the Final Four?
Don't tip me with a good time.
You would be, look, dude, you would be insufferable the next couple months.
that river of Kool-Aid would turn into a typhoon.
Yes, it would. I'm still trying to pull out.
Okay, Boise State, 24-10 overall.
Yep.
They don't have
tournament for the first time since 2021.
Yeah, they had 3 consecutive tournaments that they'd made. Ohio State, 17-15. Okay, they were 41st in the net ranking, which, depending on which bracketologist you talk to, the net ranking is very important. So 41st, you would think they would be in. Ohio State closed the season with a 9-15 record in quad 1 and quad 2. They did not have a quad 3 or quad 4 loss. So borderline there, 17 wins, man. That's
but what did we say about Arkansas? You can't get in for less, and that's the benchmark. See, every year, and I'd have to ask somebody who knows about the wins to get to the postseason with baseball because there's so many stats and everything there. But when you have, for football example, you have to get to 6 wins. You have to get that is to get to a bowl game. You have to get to 6. Well, the way they've got it written now, you can get to 5 and still get in. But for the longest time, you had to get to 20 to 6 wins. In basketball, that magic number has always been 20 to 25 wins, has it not? I mean, you're again,
20 seems to be the benchmark. If you can get to 20 wins in the regular season and not have any horrible quad 4 losses or minimal quad 3, then more than likely you're in. And that's part of what the argument is with West Virginia and Indiana. West Virginia, 19-13, right there on the cusp, 19 wins. where I think what cost West Virginia was they went one and done in the Big 12 tournament against the worst team in the Big 12. And I think that's what kept them out. Their net was 51, which is good. They had 10 wins that fell in either quad 1 or quad 2. But I think that one and done in the conference tournament, I think they were firmly on the bubble. My opinion, if they win that first round conference tournament game in the Big 12 and don't lose to the worst team in the conference, they're probably in, and North Carolina's probably out. Now, okay, Indiana.
Explain something to me real quick.
Okay.
Since we're talking about
All
the
right.
record.
Yeah.
Baylor's 19-14, but they're a 9 seed.
I don't have their resume in front of me. I would have to look at the resume. I know some of their 19 wins were good, like really good. I mean, for instance, one of their 19 wins is Arkansas. They beat us earlier in the year, if you remember that. I'll have to research their resume because I don't have it in front of me. I do have Indiana's, and so now you got to remember with Indiana, Mike Woodson's already announced he's not coming back. A lot of people think Chris Beard has been linked to that job, and there was Dusty May's not going to leave Michigan to go to that one. He has Indiana ties.
Let me ask you.
Okay.
And I know we're kind of bouncing around here. What do you think? And this is coming to me from a big Indiana fan.
Yeah.
What do you think about the head coach at Drake coming over? Somebody from that staff coming over to Indiana?
I could see the head coach at Drake. Here's the potential speed bump I think you have with that one.
Okay.
I think a lot of the Indiana boosters and the longtime fans would be borderline embarrassed that they had to go all the way down to somebody at Drake to become their new head coach. I think they still believe this is Bobby Knight's Indiana program, and it's not.
It's not.
It's not even what Tom Crean had at one point. But I think that could be your speed bump.
There's a name I haven't heard in forever.
Yeah. But I mean, he came in and had some success there.
He did. Now the other name. So, and again, I'm throwing this out there. Okay, there's no smoke to this as of yet. But there's another coaching job I want you to think about, and that's at North Carolina. Okay.
See, I don't know that since they made the dance, I don't know that Hubert Davis is getting fired.
Something's telling me that they're going to throw everything they've got at Nate Oates.
That's who I would throw it at. If I was the AD at North Carolina and I had made up my mind that Hubert Davis was not coming back, I'm throwing everything that I have. I'm calling Michael Jordan. I'm calling Jerry Stackhouse. I'm calling Rasheed Wallace. And I'm saying, guys, let's put something together here.
So.
Do what?
I said Jordan's tied up in NASCAR right now.
Yeah, but I guarantee you he's still paying attention.
Oh, yeah.
But he's still paying attention. He knows what's going on.
You know, when you have, I mean, so let's switch gears here. Does Arkansas have a path to the Final Four?
No.
I know that everybody's going to be asking that because everybody's going to be saying Arkansas is going to make it to the Sweet 16. They're going to make it to the Elite 8. Do they have a legitimate path to the final 2 weekends or weekend of college basketball?
I don't see it, man. And the river of Kool-Aid, I can only take it so far, man. But
do you think they get? So you don't think they get past next?
I don't think they get. If I'm not guaranteeing that they're going to beat Kansas, but if they do, it ends the next round against St. John's.
Okay. Right.
I think depth. I think this is where depth becomes too big of an issue. Even if we were to let's go perfect scenario here and say that Thero was able to come back and play, he's going to be rusty. Same thing's going to happen with Boogie. Boogie's going to be rusty too.
You
can practice all day long, but it's different when you get out in the game, and he knows this, and he'll be ready for it.
Oh yeah. But I think Cal's going to have him ready.
Yeah, he'll be ready. He'll be as ready as he can be. Even if, let's say that you get Thero back for that St. John's game, I can't expect to see more than maybe 10, 12 minutes out of him for that. Basically come in to spell either Big Z or Jonas Adu just to give them a break.
Right.
But I think the depth is going to be too much because if you know anything about Rick Pitino, man, he plays the exact same style that Nolan used to play. That's why when Kentucky and Arkansas got together, when those two guys were coaching, it was always so much fun because you would have both sides going 1,000 miles an hour for 4 minutes. And then at the media timeout, they'd do hockey subs, man. They'd do the complete 5-man sub on both sides. And St. John still kind of plays that, I don't think they go 10 or 11 deep like Pitino did at Kentucky, but he still runs and guns. He's still bringing an old school mentality to this team. And I think that's why they've been successful. Now, the only way I see Arkansas making the Sweet 16 would be if Omaha was to do the unthinkable. And then you get that if you get that second round matchup after an upset, Katie bar the door, man, because it's all on the table at that point.
Absolutely. We've got one more break, and on this other break, we're going to put the final thoughts on this bracket, and MC gives me his Final Four and eventual national champion. You're listening to a special edition of Inside the Hawg Pen. Back one last time right after this.
Mix Design is your one-stop shop for custom clothing with a personal touch. At Mix Design, we can help you tell your story through your wardrobe. Your imagination on a hat, shirt, pullover, or nearly anything wearable. And while you're picking out some custom clothing, check out the one-of-a-kind handmade soaps from the Bobcat Soap Company. Find us on Facebook and let us create custom swag just for you at Mix Design.
Hey, Hog Fanatics. We at Inside the Hawg Pen are thrilled to announce that SeatGeek is now a sponsor. As brand ambassadors, we're excited to share SeatGeek as a ticket app that simplifies the ticket buying process for all your favorite events. They provide a 0 to 10 score for each ticket, with green indicating a good deal and red indicating a not-so-good deal. As a special offer, Hog Fanatics can get $20 off their first ticket purchase by using the code INSIDEHOGPEN. Check out our socials for the link, and remember to use the code INSIDEHOGPEN.
It's time to step back inside the Hawg Pen to the Mix Design Studios.
Welcome back here to the final segment on the special edition of Inside the Hawg Pen Bracket Busters Edition, sponsored by the Final Jumpshot Podcast from Cam Productions. Out now, wherever podcasts can be found. Fantastic first episode.
Thank you.
If you, was that you that did that? That was it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
My buddy MC has put together an amazing podcast, and traveling around, keeping the legacy of small town high school basketball alive, so to speak. But if you haven't listened to it yet, go find it. You're not gonna want to miss it. It's a fantastic podcast, almost as good as ITHP, but better. No, just kidding. Now, MC, you're doing fantastic work out there. Hey, by the way, if you guys want in, I'm gonna sweeten the pot a little bit. And I'm about to throw my entire team for a loop here. We are doing a bracket challenge. And now, none of my staff, me included, is, they're all exempt from the winner, from being the winner of this. So if anybody other than the staff at ITHP wins it, you guys, for one night only, get to sit in with us on an episode of ITHP. So, bracket challenge through ESPN. Go fill out your bracket, and the winner gets to sit in with us. I either get to step out because I'm not going to let MC go anywhere. Let's face it, y'all come to see him anyway. I'm just plucky comic relief, all right? I mean, the real knowledge comes from this guy.
Hey, reminder, we're on Wednesday night this week.
Yes, that was the other thing I wanted to remind everybody. because of the tournament starting on Thursday. Yes, I know it technically starts Tuesday.
No, the tournament starts
The
Thursday.
big
We don't count the play-in stuff.
Oh, you're going to piss off a lot of people with that one.
Nope. Arkansas's not in it, so we don't count the play-in stuff.
Look, we were second to last
We were
pick in
close,
the tournament.
man. We were
You want
close.
to talk
yes.
about getting by on the skin of your teeth? That's the way to do it. But that's right. So there is no ITHP on Thursday. That has been moved to Wednesday, back at our original time slot that we have had for many years. But 7:00 Wednesday night is the for this week only. It's not going back there permanently, for this week only because of the tournament. You're going to want to tune into that because we'll have all the final set for the tournament. We'll have updates from Fayetteville, or should I say Providence?
Yeah, Providence, Rhode Island.
Answer
In
me
the
this,
West.
man. Answer me this. Riddle me this. How are you going to be in the West bracket, but you're playing on the East Coast?
Well, so what they've done the last several years is that they have opened up the first and second round to be anywhere in the country, but then depending on where your Sweet 16 and Elite 8 fall, which is your regional semifinal and your regional final,
Right.
that determines your bracket. So I think ours may be in Seattle or somewhere. I don't even know. I haven't looked that far out yet to see where it is. San Francisco. Oh. So you know what happened the last time we were in a regional where the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 were in San Francisco, don't you?
No,
We upset a little team called Gonzaga.
That's right.
The plot thickens.
Well.
Listen, man, I know it's a long shot, it's a lottery ticket, but your boy here is going to be unbearable if we get beyond the second round. So, Kentucky brainless fans, you've been warned.
Oh, they're already chirping on. They're already chirping on Facebook or on Twitter. They're already chirping. Believe me.
That's all they do, man. That's all they do.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight on the special edition of Inside the Hawg Pen Bracket Busters. Make sure you got your brackets filled out. Make sure you guys watch the tournament. Cheer on the Hogs because they take on Kansas. The time is yet to be determined. I think Wednesday, by the time the regular ITHP gets here, we'll have more information for you.
Yeah,
including channel, where to find it, where to watch it, how to watch it. And I might talk to the guys and kind of sweet talk and see if we can't get something going on YouTube here for that game. Like I said, we're gonna take care of you here at ITHP. We always do. And okay, let me rephrase that. MC takes care of you. I'm just here to make sure the shit doesn't sink.
Look, hey, you carry me during football, I return the favor in hoops. That's all it is, man.
I mean, let's face it. All right. Who's smarter when it comes to what? I'm going to lean towards basketball for this guy over here.
Dude, I never played a down to organized football in my life.
You think I have?
So, well, you at least sound like you have. I mean, I don't even sound like I have, but, you know.
I've just been watching the game of football for 30 years. But we appreciate everybody watching. Enjoy your week, everybody. We'll see you back here Wednesday night, 7 p.m. for the regular ITHP. For Marcus MC Carlton and the absent Dylan D-Mad Madden, I'm Razorback Zach. Until then, so long, everybody.
Thanks for watching this episode of Inside the Hawg Pen. Listen anytime on your favorite podcast provider and be sure to follow us on all our social network channels.